What's happening, everybody? This is Todd Wilson with another episode of Elevate Your Game. Today, we have a special guest. We have a current women's college basketball player, Vanessa de Jesus.
Hi, great to meet you.
Great to meet you. Okay, she's playing currently at Duke University, taking a year off due to injury. Awesome for her to come by and just share with us here on Elevate Your Game. So thank you for coming by and your tight schedule here in California for a little bit.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we start this show off with the wall of hoop movies. So your favorite hoop movie of all time and why?
I think it would have to be Love and Basketball. I don't know, I just, being from LA and it being based at USC and just that kind of love story as a kid, like, you're like, oh my gosh. And then plus basketball, like, nothing really gets better than that. So it was always one of my favorites since, like, I was young.
Yeah, no, Love and Basketball. One of my favorites, one of the classics. I recently saw a skit on a TV show where he was like, let me play you for your heart. And the girl like beats him actually. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, I don't want to be with you no more.
That's what I'm saying. If it was that way, then no one's really going to be happy about
Right,
that.
exactly. Would you actually play for somebody for their heart?
Someone asked me?
Yeah?
I think I would, but then I think I'd win again. And then, like you said, I don't know if it's going to be a good thing.
Right.
So would I have to let him win then?
Oh, he beat her, and then he also came back to her afterwards.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see, yeah.
I take hoop too serious. If I'm going to beat you, that's it.
True.
It's over with.
I wouldn't say no, that's why. I wouldn't say no if someone asked me, I'd be like, yeah. Like, if you're going to ask me, okay, let's go.
Hoop. All right.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's smart for that person.
Yeah.
You'll probably win. Awesome. So we like to just hop into your story.
Mm-hmm.
So the first question is, how did you fall in love with basketball?
Yeah, for me, growing up, being Filipino was just such a big thing. It was always, like, around, whether, like, watching games or just going to the park. And my parents would always say, like, back home in the Philippines, there was always games, like, down every street. So it was something that was always around me, and it kind of just grew from that, just being something that my family loved and became something I loved. And I didn't try any other sports because none of them really stuck besides basketball. So I'd say, yeah, my family was a big part of it.
How old were you when you first started playing?
I got my first hoop when I was 2 for Christmas. My parents, like, surprised me. I was obviously, like, really tiny, but it's like a little 6-foot, like, indoor, like, hoop that you could raise and play with. But my first team was when I was 6 years old. It was an all-boys team, obviously Park and Rec down at like, the local gym. But
Was it in Valencia? Or
yeah,
in
Valencia. It was, like, it was one of the leagues here.
One of the smaller leagues. Okay, awesome. And so, through your experience, what helped you get good at basketball? What helped you develop even at that young age of starting in that league?
Yeah.
Did you have good coaches then, or was it when did it become more of a serious game for you?
Yeah, I think it got serious around junior year, or not junior year, junior middle school or middle school.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because that's when I first got my first letter of, like, interest from a college.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, like, this could actually be something I see myself doing, like, further in college and possibly, like, later on in pros. So I think for me the biggest thing was just my discipline and my hard work that really got me to where I am. I think a big part of it is just continuing putting the work, even if maybe you don't see the results that you expected to see, but, like, trusting that, like, it will come in due pay. And Kobe has been, like, a big person that I always look up to, and his, like, relentless, like, hard work was something I always aspired to, like, do in myself.
Oh man, that's awesome. So middle school, you got your first letter of interest from a college, which is crazy. That happens, I know, but it's very rare.
Yeah.
Were you playing in the AAU circuit? Were you still playing with boys at the time?
Yeah.
Like, what was that journey like?
Yeah, so
middle school time?
I think in middle school is when I, like, okay, I love playing as boys because, like, again, it's another competitive area, but I knew I was going to play with girls growing up. So that's when I joined my AU team in 4th grade called Cal Storm, and that's where Chelsea Gray played, Diana Taurasi played, and my coach, he coached me all the way through high school, and he lives actually in the area. That's how I met him, from one of our rec leagues called
Coach George?
Coach George, George Quintero, So I've known him since then, and he kind of just helped me, him being a point guard too, like, see basketball in a different way, and that kind of helped me elevate my game to, I think.
You said it. Sorry, when people say elevate your game, I have to say that.
Oh, elevate my game to, like, the player I am, like, today. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, George is deep history in developing players. And how did you get connected to him? Did he see you in the gym, like, playing in the rec league, or how did that happen?
So I was at USU where Tommy used to coach before when I was really young, and he was still part of it too as one of the coaches. So we were doing skills, and out of the crowd of like the boys and girls, he like spotted me out, and he's like, "Oh, like come try out. Like we have a little, practice down in LA, like for my club ball team." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, like I'll go." And since then, I kind of just been with them and all the way through senior year. So
wow, that's awesome. I love the consistency. I think that's important, especially in this day and age where a lot of kids hop around.
Yeah.
What do you think that consistency did for you from middle school and seeing it all the way to now? Like Tommy told me to, hey, she needs to be on the show. Like you guys are still connected.
Yeah.
What was that consistency like, and how did it benefit you in the long run?
Yeah, I think just consistency and like everything from basketball and just like again like the team and my relationships, it kind of just showed me what I needed as like a support system for one, and like what that means to be consistent and how important it is to grow in whether relationships or in basketball. And for me, that goes again to just my work ethic. Like that's where I get my confidence, is the consistency every day and putting in the work. So I think it's a big lesson, a big part of like who I am.
Absolutely. So your parents at one point, either from the beginning or some point, they had to kind of give you to the game, right? I always say release your kid to the game.
Yeah.
At what point did your parents like, okay, hey, our hands are off?
Yeah.
If they have it now to this point, right?
Yeah.
And like allowed you to kind of go on your own journey with basketball.
Yeah. I think it was around high school because, like you said, especially my dad, he was very like, oh, he filmed every game, so we'd watch it like after the games and always try to give me advice. But I think in high school, once I started like stepping into my game and that confidence like actually came out, because as like a young player, like you always have your doubts, and that was a big thing I struggled with, is like just confidence and like believing in myself when I was young. And I feel like once I stepped into Sierra Canyon and Coach Kamaki was a big part of me believing in myself, that's when my parents were like, okay, I think Vanessa's figured it out, like we can now just be her biggest fan instead of having to also be her like coach.
Okay, so I'm middle school Vanessa. Where did the doubt creep in that that you weren't you didn't think you were good enough? Where did that come from?
I think one is me being like Filipino American. Like you look around the players at like the highest like AAU levels that I played with, like at Cal Storm. There were many like other Asian American players at that level, and for me, it's something that you think about, like, oh, like I'm the only one here. Like, am I good enough? So that's something that I think as a young kid, you want to see people that look like you, to who are doing things that you dream of doing. So for me, that was something that was always like in the back of my mind.
Oh man, okay. And then what changed going to Sierra Canyon and getting with Coach Kamaki? You said there was a little shift in that.
Yeah.
What was instilled in you that time to give you that confidence?
Yeah, I think Coach Kamaki, her having played D1 basketball and now coaching at like one of the best high schools in the country, she was just someone that showed me like we are able to like do it, and she believed in me like instantly when I got there. And her having my back and believing in my dreams and goals again just brought in that confidence that I felt like I maybe needed. And she just let me play my game and grow, and kind of just push me to be the person I need to be.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so, what did your I'm going back to your parents, right? Your parents kind of releasing that, releasing you to the game. Yeah. What did that look like, and how was that different for you? Having somebody, hey, you're watching film every day with your dad, and I'm sure he's the discipline, the structure, right, and those types of things.
Yeah.
What did he do? This is for the parents out here, not even for the kids. Yeah. What can parents do at that time when it's time to release you to the game to allow you to grow?
Yeah, I think it is important to obviously like give advice as a parent, like, okay, like call your kid out, like if they messed up, but it's like in a way of doing it. Like I think the way they did it was being more like just supportive and understanding that I'm older now, like I'm not a little kid anymore, so the way we can communicate and like talk about the game is way different than when I was a younger kid, where maybe it was more of you had to be more on me as I wouldn't listen. So I think just understanding that we're older now and there's a way to communicate things, and that we want to listen to them, so they don't have to be as hard on us.
Yeah. So parents should listen to their kids when they talk.
Yeah.
That's the key. Okay. I was just making sure I'm clear. Okay. So going into middle school, where you were playing with Cal Storm during that time as well. Were you traveling nationally? What was your schedule like as a middle school player?
That's when I first started like playing like travel tournaments. So we would go for EYBL, would be either somewhere on the East Coast like Atlanta, or they had before North Carolina. But since I was still young and in middle school, we'd only go to really Arizona or maybe some tournament in Atlanta also. So
okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you remember any of those games or people you played against now that are maybe in the WNBA or
Oh
on that
yeah,
level?
in AAU.
Yes.
Played Caitlin Clark actually.
Oh, wow.
She beat us in the championship game of EYBL in Chicago. Kevin Durant was watching, and
Wow.
they won on a buzzer beater 3. We were up by 2, and it was their ball, and they kicked it to the corner. And
It was her? Did
no,
she
it
make the
wasn't
shot?
her.
Oh, she
It
didn't make
wasn't
the
her
shot,
though.
okay.
She didn't make it, but I think she did pass it to the person. So that was that was the most brutal game.
Yeah, no, those are the tough ones. You
Yeah.
always, like you said, it's almost like the traumatic moments you remember. You probably won a
Exactly.
lot of games during that time,
Exactly.
but that was the one that stood
but
out to you.
she was still good. She was still hooping in high
Right.
school, so give her respects.
Awesome. And so,
Yeah.
who do you remember who your first letter was from in middle school or from college?
Yeah, it was Cal Poly, the
Okay,
the
yeah.
local, California school. I think they probably just came to one of our, California tournaments. So I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like as a little kid, I took a picture. I was like so hyped.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cal Poly.
And then when you went to high school, how much did the interest pick up from there? Was it kind of
Yeah.
a slower route to getting a lot,
Yeah.
or what was that journey?
Yeah, I think for me, it really jumped like sophomore to junior year once I was playing with Sierra Canyon. And again, like my game was just moving to a different level, like in the AAU circuit and also in high school. So that's when I feel like more coaches like we started reaching out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Coach Kamaki. So I think it's one of our best podcast shows with her. She has just full of information
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
just an amazing person. Like she seemed like she really connects with her players, right?
Yeah.
And so let's just talk more about that experience at Sierra Canyon. You were there all 4 years. Once again,
All 3 years.
All 3.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Where were you before that?
I went to this middle school called Marlboro School. It's in LA.
Oh, yeah.
So I went there for 6th or 7th to 9th grade.
Okay, was ninth grade middle school there, or was
Yes,
it?
yeah, it was
so
still
it's
middle
considered-
school,
So
yeah.
you went your 10th grade. Okay,
Yeah.
so that was all of high school for you, 3 years.
Yes,
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, and so there for those 3 years,
Yeah.
what was that experience like? This is how many championships did you win this year? Can I lose count?
Yeah,
with the
only
years?
only one, but we should have won. We should have won 2.
Okay, so you
Yeah,
won one,
yeah.
and then what year?
My junior year.
Your junior year.
Yeah.
Okay, so right in the middle.
Yeah.
Building up to that, what is happening every day? If I'm a day in the life camera following Vanessa
Yeah.
around, what was it like in high school for you?
Oh yeah, my schedule. It was
Yes.
so I work out with Tommy, so we'd meet up before school around like 5:30 and go into.
This is AM, everybody, not 5:30
Oh
at
yeah,
night.
AM.
5 a.m.
Yeah, so I wake up at 4:30, meet at the gym at 5, stretch, warm up. We work out from like 5:30 to like 7, and then I leave to go to school because school started around 8:15, 8:30. Have school during lunch. Me and Coach Kamaki would shoot, so it'd be around like 12 to like 12:30. Finish school around 3, and then we'd have practice from 3 to 5. And then you shoot some more after practice, so it'd be like 5:36, and then head home, which is maybe about 30 to 45 because it's the Valley and I live in Santa Cruz, so I'd get home around like 7:30ish. Have breakfast. Have dinner. Do some homework, and then try to go to bed around 10 since I wake up pretty early. So it was a pretty hectic schedule. Yeah.
Yeah, but what was the motivating factor, and like what pushed you to do that every day?
Yeah, I want to be great, that was the biggest thing, and I love winning. So again, winning championships is something I love doing. There's nothing better than winning, that feeling. So that's a huge motivator for me. And yeah, like I think you have to put in the work to, be great. You can't just talk; you have to put it into action. So for me, that came from the consistent work of having that schedule, waking up every day, and doing it even if I didn't want to do it.
Who taught you that? That like you weren't. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe you were born like this, right? Some people are
Yeah,
just.
I don't know.
Who taught you like winning? Like you loved winning and what it
Yeah.
took to win and those things. Who taught you that?
Yeah, I feel like honestly, all my coaches, from Coach George to Coach Kamaki, her winning championships, even Tommy, like him telling me his journey, and and my parents too, just that consistent like sacrifices to achieve what you want to achieve. That's something, I guess since I was young, I've seen. So it kind of just stuck with me, and now it's through my goals of basketball. So that's where it started from.
Man, that's awesome. I think it's so important for people to realize your I call it your board of directors, the people who are around you, your inner circle and your board of directors, the people who are around you that have such a huge impact on who you become, especially in your formative years.
Yeah.
From your dad in the rec league to your
Yes.
middle school and Coach George and Coach Tommy through high school, having not just one but multiple coaches pour into you in every step of your life every day, and it's that consistency that got you to where you are. We're gonna hop into Duke stuff for sure. But
Yeah.
to hop, I mean, to like, you just express positivity and hard work. Like,
Yeah.
that's what you express in everything you say. So,
Yeah.
just the importance of the people around you.
Yes.
And so,
Yeah.
now, okay, so high school championship year.
Yeah.
What was different? What you said you should have won more. So was
Yeah.
anything different, or you know?
Yeah, I think for me, since so sophomore year was my first year at Sierra Canyon, the second year was kind of like, okay, like no more like just filling out, the waters. I kind of knew what my role was and who I needed to be for my team to succeed. And Coach Kamaki knew it too. So I think that's that year we just kind of bought in. And be honest, I think we went 33-1 that year.
Whoa.
We were just on a different level. And I think our mentality was to win after that, that first like year when we should have. So yeah, just the whole mindset of my mindset of, okay, what I need to do and kind of the whole team.
Right. And so if you watch your game, so I watched you all through your 3 years of high school. I thought it was maybe 4, so 3 years of high school. And, recently just seen clips of you at Duke. And so, like, you're a floor general. Like, when you talk about being a leader and a point guard, you embody that. Where was that developed, and what is your mindset as a point guard when you step into the game?
Yeah, I think it started when I was young from Coach George Contreras, just because he was a point guard and he told me, like, you have to lead your team. Like, the point guard job is to make everybody around them better. And for me, that was by being vocal or just by putting them in the best spot to succeed. And I think for me, that's the biggest part of my game as a point guard is making everybody around me better. I think there's scoring point guards, there's passing point guards. All those are very important, but I think a great point guard really makes everyone better around them.
Absolutely. And so you said being vocal. This is a huge thing when in a generation where everybody wants their kid to be a point guard, regardless if they're 7 foot or 5'9", whatever, or they even have the innate ability to do it. Yeah. Were you always vocal, or were you quiet at one point and had to be pulled out of it?
Yeah, I probably say I'm quieter when I was younger. I was a pretty shy kid. And I don't know, I just grew up kind of on the quieter side, but yeah, at the end of the day, like, my coaches always told me, you have to speak more, you have to talk more, just to, again, be a leader. You can't, lead if you're not speaking. So that's something I still work on, just to be vocal and, again, just showing my presence and, like, helping my teammates. But I think it is a big part of being a great leader on the court.
How are you held accountable to being vocal as a leader? With Coach George, because I know he does it.
Yeah.
Coach Kamaki, and even now at Duke.
Yeah, just again reminding, they pull me over, remind me, like, okay, like, this is your team. They look to you. Like, you have to understand that in order to lead them, they have to hear what you have to say. So they just remind me how important what I have to say is. And, again, that kind of pushes me to be more vocal because, again, I just want my team to get better. So if I'm holding back something that could help the team, I know that's not beneficial for us.
Right. Man, that's there you go. I love the focus. Like, your focus is on the team being better, but in return, the game made you better. Because of your hard work, of course, too. Waking up at 5 a.m. is not, that's not built for everybody. But your focus is always on the team. You're making yourself better for the team to be better, but you're good, And so, what would your advice be to someone who is trying to be a point guard now? And it's kind of even changed since you've been in high school, right? How basketball works and the rankings, the social media, all these things. How can someone who is stuck in this world currently have that attitude and still get to the level that you got to?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, because like you said, social media is such a big deal nowadays. I think just stay focused on the original goal of, like, why you're playing basketball and the passion for, like, the love of basketball. For me, that was the biggest thing. We didn't have social media as big, like, when I was younger, and the reason I played was, because I loved basketball. So I think just staying locked in on that, and, again, the consistency to always keep working no matter what social media says or what the rankings say. Like, you see yourself every day working. Like, I think you should believe in that, and, that should give you confidence in yourself.
How do I know I'm working the right way, though, right? There's a lot of trainers. There's a lot of people out here. There's a lot of videos online. How do I know I'm working the right way?
Yeah. See, I never had a trainer growing up. It was always just me and my dad would go to the park and just shoot. So I think for me, it's just, again, the consistency and honestly learning about your game. Like, for me, I watched a lot of film since I was young to going into high school, and that gave me the chance to really see what's parts of my game I really need to grow in. And I think that could help you understand what parts of your game you should be working on because, like you said, if you're working on the wrong thing that maybe you're already good at, but avoiding the, for example, like maybe defense you're not as good at and avoiding that, I think that won't help you grow as a player. So just being aware of what maybe your more like your weaknesses that you should be focusing more on.
Awesome. So I'm going to scale back just a little bit.
Yeah.
Your dad taught you how to shoot?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, my aunt also played like D3 basketball, so she
nice.
also
helped out.
Yeah.
So I make a big point. Everybody I know that's shooters, their dad taught them how to shoot. I had something to do with it, and so I just want everybody to hear that.
Yeah, we can say that.
Dads, learn how to shoot so you can teach your kids. All right, so Sierra came more back to the championship year. You said things were different. You guys, 33-1, crazy.
Yeah.
What else was it? Was there a difference in practice? Was there a difference in the attitude of the girls that you were playing with? What else was different in that atmosphere to develop a championship team?
Yeah, I think Coach Kamaki also knew, like, myself and all of our other starters, we were upperclassmen, so this was kind of the year to focus and dial in, so she was very hard on us. We conditioned every day, like, at least 10 minutes, which really wasn't the funnest parts, but we were in such great shape. That was probably the best shape I was in high school just because of that work every day. And I think that played a big part because a lot of teams we were playing, they could not hang with us and our style of game. And again, Coach Kamaki just really pushed us to play in a way that I think benefited the pieces we had around us. And that was a big part because we had every single piece, I think, which you kind of need. You can't have the same kind of players on our championship team. So.
Right. And so I'm sure your recruitment picked up after that championship, right?
Yeah.
So when did Duke start recruiting you? What other schools were, involved during that time? And what was that experience like being recruited?
Yeah. So I talked to Duke around like sophomore or junior year because I committed end of my junior year to Duke.
Okay.
But yeah, so it was always because also Coach George Quintero, he had a relationship with them as well, just as, Chelsea Gray went there as one of the players I mentioned before that played on my club team. So they were always someone I like talked to a little bit, but had never really like picked up until more of my junior year. But other than them, I was really like specific on what kind of school I wanted to go to just because for me, like basketball and academics was really important. So I kind of narrowed the schools to some Ivy Leagues and then also some Pac-12 schools like Stanford, like Washington, and Cal. So that kind of picked up also again in junior year after playing high school basketball. But I decided at the end of junior year that I wanted to go to Duke just because, one, like, again, basketball and academics are huge for me, and I feel like Duke and like Stanford were like the two schools that were really on that level. And just hearing like from Chelsea Gray, like her experience, because she used to coach me when I was younger. So her experience at Duke and like where she is now and like her being one of the best point guards, it kind of just pushed me towards there. And again, I wanted to go away for school, so
that's always good. Yeah,
they played a part. Yeah.
What's the benefits of going away? You were here pretty much your whole or all of your life, right?
Yeah.
And then what are the benefits of going away off to college? You know, separate from what you experience in basketball.
Yeah.
Just as a kid and trying to learn on your own. What's that benefits?
I think it's just a new step into like who you are as a person and taking a step like by yourself, because I feel like as a kid you always just grow up by your family and you're just very comfortable in this area, and I feel like I was very comfortable in California, and I feel like I need to just get out of my comfort zone and kind of figure out who I was. And I feel like going to the East Coast was the plan to do it just because I have never been to the East Coast before, and it was kind of a new area. Duke itself, the culture was very different than California, so for me it was just a big part of figuring out the person I am without having the past of who I was. Also there.
What kind of obstacles did you run into by moving to the East Coast?
I know one is the weather. They actually have seasons. I have puffer jackets on when it's like 70. People walking around in shorts, and I'm like, I could never do that. And then also just the culture is way different. It's a lot of trees by Duke. That's what I would say.
A lot of trees.
A lot of trees. Yeah, I appreciate now the nature. But yeah, life there is very slow. It's slower.
Okay. And then, all right, so graduating Sierra Canyon, you guys got pretty far in the playoffs and didn't get that.
Yeah.
What was that like, knowing the experience of a championship, being that close and not being able to grab it?
Yeah, it really hurt, honestly. I was really looking forward to that year, especially coming off our championship year. Everybody thought we were going to win it again. But it kind of worked out for us just because that's when COVID picked up and they had to cancel, I think, a lot of the games. So even though we didn't make it, I think the teams that did, like, they weren't able to play the championship game. Right. So it was kind of...
It was like, so nobody won the championship.
Yeah, so we were still the latest champions. So, But yeah, like again, I thought senior year would have been different.
Were you guys, so you guys were in the championship game and didn't get to go,
Oh
or you
no,
guys lost the?
yeah, we lost before, so
Alright.
it was like
Good. All right.
yeah, I don't know what would be worse, like not making it or making it and not even be able to play. So.
Right. Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. No, I talked to Andre Chevalier.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that was the year they were supposed to go and it
Yeah.
didn't go. He was like, it's like unfinished business.
That's what
like,
I'm saying.
You have
Yeah,
to kind of live with
that would have
that.
sucked.
So.
As a senior, you're like, what if, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so you're entering Duke as COVID is happening.
Yeah.
Did you get to go to Duke? Or
Yeah,
what happened?
it was so weird. I did go to Duke in the summer around July because we had summer workouts. So we'd have to wear masks like everywhere from, seeing our coaches, seeing our teammates. And we lived off campus at like a hotel that was on campus with some of my teammates who were also like underclassmen. But yeah, it was so weird. We would have individual workouts, like one coach and one player at each court, just because social distancing, and we'd have to wear a mask too, and get tested every day. So it was just a weird time.
Wow, and that season started a little late.
Yeah, it started in I think November, just because you didn't really have that many games, or maybe October.
Okay.
But we actually ended our season early. We only played 4 games, and then we opted out.
That's what. Yeah, that year. Okay.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a
Yeah.
weird year.
So that year was kind of a wash, and more of a training and development, and you got to adjust to the East Coast during COVID, which I don't know is really adjusting to it.
I know.
So going into that's considered your real freshman year, I guess. That next year, what is it like playing in the ACC?
Oh my gosh, honestly, for one, every time I walk into Cameron, it's just like I still get like butterflies. It's like one of my favorite gyms. I wouldn't lie. And playing in the ACC, I understood like how big the competition was there, and the type of players I'd be playing against, just that kind of level. It was a completely different high school. The pace of basketball, the IQ, and just again the competition was the best I'd seen since high school. So it really pushed me honestly to keep working and get even better, which I think helped me as a player because I wanted to play somewhere where it would push me to be a better player. I didn't want to go somewhere where I know I could just dominate easily and not grow as a player. And I feel like playing in the ACC has helped me with that.
Yeah, like competition, when you have the mindset that you have, competition takes you to that next level.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, you made a good point. You're like, you wanted to go somewhere where it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's where the most growth happens.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
your parents did a great job. Let's say that, okay? And all your coaches who have helped give you that mindset that you have. So playing in that, like your competition, what was your freshman year like? How many opportunities did you have going to a school like that and playing?
Yeah, so luckily they needed a point guard when I came in. So I actually had a lot of opportunities. I started for my team in the beginning of the year. Obviously, the first year of COVID, I started, and then our first actual year, I did start like in the beginning, which was really awesome because as a freshman, usually you don't get that experience to just be on the floor and actually learn by playing. So I think for me, that was a huge part of getting inside of the game and how the ACC works, which I was like really thankful for, and I enjoyed it. It was like, okay, I'm ready.
You got to play. You're a gamer. You're a gamer.
Yeah, I was
awesome.
ready.
And so people don't, if they don't know, you're 5'8", 5'9"?
5'8", yeah.
You're 5'8",
yeah.
and which is short for
Yes.
any point guard, right?
Yes.
And so for you to accomplish all you did and do all these things you do at a small stature for a basketball world, right?
Yeah.
What would you tell some of the shorter guards out there?
Yeah. I definitely would say for me, it was just figuring out what part of my game to be great at. Because, again, like height, that's something you can't change, but your game is something you can always work on. So for me, it was being a great point guard and figuring out what aspects of those I need to work on to be great. So I think
Which were what?
one was my IQ. So like I said, I watch basketball. I love basketball, so I'd watch it all the time from NBA, college, my own game. So just learning the game and understanding the different reads, and which helps me with passing, my vision, and just playmaking. So that whole aspect was something I really focused on, and just being great at that. I think obviously you want to be good at other stuff, but you want to be great at something to like separate yourself from others. So that was my thing. So the height wouldn't hopefully play a big of a part.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And how'd you adjust to the physicality, right?
Yeah.
How'd you adjust to that? Playing in the ACC,
Uh-huh.
what was that like? What'd you have to do to hang?
Yeah. For one, obviously you start lifting, you get stronger, and you see yourself like, okay, like I can bang with these girls. And then I think again for me, it's just the mindset. That was a big part of it. Again, it came from the work, came from seeing myself getting better every day and just understanding that I'm getting better, so I belong here. So for me, my mindset played a big part of me just staying confident.
I keep going back to this because it's important. How do you know you're getting better? How did you gauge
Yeah.
and take that, hey, I'm working out every day,
Yeah.
but how did you know you're actually getting better?
Yeah, I think for me, again, the discipline and working every day, and for me, it's just when I step onto the court and play, just this different like mindset, like, where you're not really trying as hard. It's kind of just you're just playing, and that's kind of where I know, oh shoot, like I'm just doing this move I worked on 100 times like this past couple of weeks. That's when I know I'm getting better, is when I can just play and not find myself thinking about the game too much.
And I think that's important because kids overthink on the court, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're trying the move that they've been working on, but when you've worked on it so much, it becomes natural.
Yeah.
And doing it in the right timing and space and
Yes.
situation, which is combined with your film study.
Yes.
So like you said, you watch film a lot and you worked out a lot. And that IQ and that work ethic came together to where, hey, you can recognize when you're getting better because you're seeing and visualizing, and then you're applying what you worked on in the game without even thinking about it. And so that's the formula. You know, that's the formula, is that your assessment is, I'm doing the stuff I worked on and it's not hard. It is second nature. And so kids who think they're doing something, if you're overthinking it in the game, you're going to mess up.
Yeah, exactly. That's when you do mess up.
You could tell when somebody's been working on their shot, because all of a sudden they get in the game and they airball with the perfect form, but they airball. And it's like, you're overthinking it, man. Just let it go. Just be a part of the game.
Just be in the moment. Just play.
Yes. All right. So Duke, freshman year goes by. How do you guys end the year? Your freshman, or well,
my real first year.
You're really post-COVID freshman year.
Yeah, it was honestly a building year, so we didn't end on the greatest note that we thought we would, just because we had a lot of new pieces. It was a lot about building chemistry. So that year, was not the best year for us. But the year after, we did better, just because I felt like, again, people had a year in their belt. We kind of understood like our pieces and the players we had. So with that experience, we were ready to like compete against other teams.
Awesome. And then where did you guys get to the tournament that year?
We did get to the tournament that year. Yeah, I think we didn't do well, but we made the tournament, which is like my first time ever.
Yes.
So I was like super excited. Just you see like the March Madness and all that, like all the fun stuff with it. It's something I've always dreamed of, like as a kid, was to play in the tournament. So it was super exciting for me. Oh,
that's awesome. And so what's the different energy around being in March Madness like, right? We see it and we can feel it and we can see it in the games, the importance of every single possession almost.
Yeah.
What is it like playing in that? And what level did that take you to as a competitor?
No, one thing I really noticed was just like the desperation on the court, because, you lose, you're out. And I could feel that with every team, and it didn't matter where you were ranked. If you were ranked above your opponent or below, every team came out there to play like it meant everything. And for me, I feel like as a competitor, it really pushed you have to step up or you're going home. So I really grew in that part of my game, I think, during that time, just because I love winning. So the chance of winning a championship in reach, just from playing in March Madness, I think really helped me tap into that mindset again and continue putting in the work. And it's honestly my favorite part of the year to play.
So playing for Coach Lawson, what is that like? I mean, we see her clips on Instagram and super encouraging, and looks like another great coach for you to be mentored by and coached by. What is it like playing for her?
Yeah, I'm honestly just so grateful, because again, another great point guard who's done it every level, from playing in college, WNBA, Olympics, and then coaching, NBA, and now the college level. She has so much insight that I've just been able to pick her brain about. And I think, again, she's a different, like, every year I've been coached by a point guard, and they've all taught me something different. And from Kara, just her experience is something that I feel like I can't learn from anybody else. And I'm just really happy that I'm able to just continue to learn from her.
Why do these coaches trust you so much?
I think the biggest thing is, again, consistency and my hard work, because, again, you can bring in so much talent, but at the end of the day, are they putting in the work? Are they consistently trying to get better? And I think all my coaches have seen me and understand that those two things I really value, and that's how you become great. And I think coaches want that in players, and someone they know will continue to grind, even if maybe they don't see the results right away. And I've proven to be that kind of player. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. What is the most memorable thing that Coach every coach. I want to do this every coach because I
okay.
think it's important. There's two questions I'm gonna ask you
Okay.
about. We'll start from Coach Mom and Dad.
Okay.
Okay, we'll count them as a coach.
Okay.
Coach George,
Okay.
Coach Tommy,
Okay.
Coach Alicia, Coach Lawson.
Okay.
So the first question is, what is the most important thing they have taught you outside of basketball from each one?
Okay.
So we'll start with Mom and Dad.
Yeah. I guess just for my mom and dad is find something that you're passionate about, and whatever that is, like making that like your goal or dream. Because again, with basketball, a lot of people maybe do basketball just as a hobby or a way to get somewhere. But for me, it really starts. I really truly love basketball, just the game, and I watch it all the time. I just loved playing it, and I think you can't really do something if you don't have passion for it. So that's something I learned from my mom and dad. And then moving on to Tommy or
Coach George.
Coach George. Outside of basketball, I think he's taught me that. You said not related to basketball, right?
Not related to basketball.
Okay.
Yep.
I think for me, just how important relationships are, because I've built my closest friends from AAU basketball, and he really built that in with us from having like training camps where we'd stay together for the week, or we'd travel somewhere to the beach as a team. And I think having that close knit, like obviously basketball, but like just off the court, it can help you like grow like as a person and obviously as a team too. But it really showed me how valuable those relationships are and how that can help you like grow as a person and a player.
Yeah, having like-minded people, right? And you
Yes,
guys are all kind of focused on the same goal, and
Yes.
all you guys made it to high-level colleges
Yes.
and playing and all that. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Coach Tommy.
Tommy, I love basketball. Yeah, I think he's taught me just to be grateful for everything you have in life, like outside of basketball, just also like family, like the little things that people like forget, like just being like, healthy, your family healthy, like being able to spend time with your family. I think those are things I learned from him because, when I was away for college, maybe that's something I just didn't really think about as much when I was here. And now I'm like, dang, like I miss spending time with my family. I miss just going for a walk to the park with my mom or my brother or whatever. So yeah, just enjoying the little times and be appreciative for those.
Awesome. Coach Alicia?
Yeah.
Or Coach Kamaki for you?
Coach Kamaki? Yeah, she... I think for me, just for her was enjoying like other passions that you have, because she was also like a foodie, and we'd always talk about that. We'd go out together and get food and spend time together. So I think just being able to, you have the thing you're passionate about, which like for me was basketball, but also enjoying other stuff. Like I play piano also, that many people don't know. I love food, I'm a foodie, I love to travel. So just like having those other hobbies and enjoying those as well is important for like maybe your main
100%.
passion. Yeah.
And Coach Lawson?
Coach Lawson, she has a lot of motivational speeches. I'm like,
that's what I was like, I know there's stuff. There's something.
Yeah, I guess one of the most important ones is like, she always says about like competing. And I guess I can go outside of basketball and like maybe in school. Like if you want to be great at something, you can't really just back down from it and expect like the results to happen if you don't put in the work. And you really I think you also need to push yourself, because you can't get to where you want to be if you're just complacent. Sometimes many people think they're doing something, but they're not doing anything to help achieve like maybe whatever goal or whatever they're trying to achieve. So for me, that just goes into like maybe my career or even just like relationships or just like life in general, like whatever decisions. I think it's important to pursue those and not try to like just wait and have them come for you.
100%.
Yeah.
Awesome. There was a second part of this question. I'm going to skip it. That was awesome. I think, in a way, you just paid homage to all these people who helped you on your path and your journey. And so I think it's important for them to hear how they impacted you, because as coaches, we never think about that. We don't. We think about what you're doing with basketball. We think about if you're doing well, your well-being. We care so much, but those things that are outside of basketball we're going to carry you through for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Right? They're here right now while you're playing, but once you're done with your career and you started your family, you're doing this for someone else. These are the things you're going to instill into those who, who God puts under you to raise up,
Yeah,
and
true.
so that's awesome. All right, so we didn't get on junior year.
Yeah.
So this past year, or a year ago from now.
Yes.
What is it like now? You're an upperclassman. This is actually your
weird.
real junior year. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Real.
COVID messed me up. All right. What is it like now? You're an experienced
Yeah.
ACC player with
Yeah.
a scouting report against you probably,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and new players coming in.
Yeah.
What is it like?
I think, again, like you said, I was an upperclassman. I had been here the longest from any of the players on the team because I came my first year with Kara Lawson. So, yeah, I think the biggest part was just helping establish the culture, and again, helping my teammates because we had a lot of new people, a lot of transfers, a lot of freshmen, and for me, it was about helping them, guide them, understand our system and how to play with our type of offense. And I think doing that like every day in practice, and again, just being a voice people can come to if they needed help with like plays, for example. That was kind of my role, is just helping the team, get all on the same page since we're all coming from different parts, different experiences. So I was kind of just that kind of glue, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. And what is that like? Keeping the culture so important, especially at a place that has a rich history like Duke, right? And a new coach kind of brings in new culture, but the school also has its own culture, right?
Yeah.
How do you what is Duke culture?
Yeah.
Duke women's basketball culture, and how do you keep that?
Yeah, for me, I'd say sisterhood. That's a big part because we have a lot of immersion sisterhood, but just that understanding of the important the relationships are like on the team, obviously with our alumni too. So having that time to bond with each other off the court as well is so important, just because it could help you on the court. So making sure that, as upperclassmen, we all hang out, not just, freshmen with freshmen, but try to get everybody to meet up, just get food or just hang out at someone's place. I think that's a big part, and having a great team is having those solid relationships off the court. And then another part is obviously winning. You want people around you who are competitive, again, like-minded, want to win that championship. So I think you show that every day at practice. That's how you get the mindset installed, is, showing that you have to put in the work. You have to bring the same mindset to practice if you want to, achieve goals in games. So, yeah, that was kind of the two biggest ones, I'd say.
Awesome. And what was that like? What was the results of newness, right? A new infusion of freshmen transfers, you being, the senior leader, or not a senior in class, but senior leader for the program. How did that end up for the year, and what did it build to now?
Yeah, that's probably our best year so far was that year. We had a lot of upsets. People didn't see us as a top 25 team in the beginning of the year. We finished second in our conference. So yeah, I think it came a long way in showing that, those foundations are really important, and, the experiences. And again, like you were saying, you have like the young freshmen coming in and the new transfers. There's a way to figure it out. I think, again, just putting in the time with each other and just buying in, which Coach Kara always talks about, is buying into each other and obviously to our goals of, winning a championship. So although we didn't win one, we were close to a couple, and I think it was a big year for us to really step forward into, the Duke culture.
Awesome. That's awesome. And it was leading into what would be your senior year, but that got put on pause. What happened?
Yeah, so I had just come back from the FIBA Asia Cup with the Philippines national team, and we were doing summer workouts, and then I unfortunately suffered an injury during practice. So lately I've just been doing PT, just getting stronger, and taking a year off, which luckily means I won't lose the year. So I'll have 2 more years under my belt to play college basketball. But yeah, this year is more of just a different role, but again, a different role as a leader. So it kind of helped me explore that side of basketball that I hadn't before.
Yeah. Wow. And so let's talk about the FIBA Cup. So you are, let's say this first, okay. Some accolades that I know about you or I've read about you recently, right? So you're all academic team ACC, which means you're keeping a high standard, not just on the court, but off the court with your grades. So congratulations on that.
You.
I think it's extremely important to take advantage of the opportunity you have as a college basketball player academically. So keep going. Don't stop doing that. Show people, like you said, you do the piano, you get amazing grades, and you play basketball at a high level. It's possible. And it just takes focus. And so
yes, it does.
Keep going. So FIBA, and you're the first Filipino player at Duke.
Yes.
Which is awesome. And now you get to represent your country in the FIBA games. What was that like? How did you get the call? How did you feel? What's the emotion of representing something that meant something to you? Because, like you said, that was something that made you lack confidence, being the only Asian American playing on these high elite teams, and now you get to represent your country. What is that like?
So I actually first started back in high school in senior year. I was always in contact with the head coach. I just had never really had the time, just because playing for the Philippine national team was something I was really passionate about, but coming to Duke, I really wanted to dial in on, just being great here. Because like you said, coming in as the first like Asian American basketball player to ever had, I wanted to, have a great start. So I really focused in on that. And then once I started getting to my junior year, I was like, okay, I've established myself, I have the trust of my coaches and teammates of, the player I am and like my dedication to the team. And I was like, okay, I really want to turn into another passion I've always had, just never had the time to go into that, and that was playing for the national team. So I commented on like one of the head coaches' posts for the Philippine national team, and he DM'd me like a couple minutes later. He's like, "Oh hey Vanessa, like how are you? Like do you want to play?" Like yeah. Wow. So then literally that week he called someone.
A DM? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's start over here. This is like on Instagram?
Yeah, on Instagram.
You comment on a post
yeah.
and you get an invite for the national team.
Yeah.
Talk about being proactive right there. Listen, that's awesome. There's the little things, right?
Yeah.
And that was that your intention to do that, or you're just commenting?
I had it in the back of my mind.
Good.
But
no, I want people to know, hey, there's intention in that.
I had it in the back of my mind. Like, again, like, I felt like that was the time I was ready to, step into that other passion of playing for them.
That's right. Write your own story. Keep writing your own story. Okay. Yeah. So you get a call.
Yeah. So then he, like, called me. He's like, oh, like, you want to play? Like, yeah. And then, so he talked to his other guy who usually helps, like, Filipino Americans get their Filipino passport. So he reached out to me, and a week later, they went to go pick up my passport in Manila, so I'd have it to go to Australia. He brought it back, and then I met him. And then from there, I kind of just went out to play with them, and like the next month in June.
Wow.
Yeah, I met them. They had a training camp, but I saw like summer classes and also some workouts. So I just met them straight in Australia and had a week to train with them, meet them, learn the system, and then play against Team Australia.
Wow.
But yeah, the experience is really, I'm so happy I did it. Just again, talking about myself like as a younger kid, I think it means something when you see someone like yourself doing things like you dream about. And for me, that was a big part of why I play, is to inspire the young generation, especially, those like me, like little V. So I think I felt it there too, just the crowd, the Filipino culture in Australia. They were going crazy. You couldn't believe it, because I knew how much they love basketball, but actually seeing it, it was unbelievable. And after the games, getting to meet them and just how like happy they were and just proud of like being Filipino. That's something that really stuck with me, is being able to represent my culture, which is again representing my family. And I love my family, and they're a big part of like who I am and like why I have this passion for basketball. So having had this opportunity to finally do it on this level, I was just so grateful for it. And
what's the experience playing with teammates who are from the Philippines, and you being American? What was that like? Is there? What is that like? Let's talk on it.
So at first it was kind of funny, because obviously they speak the native language, is Tagalog, and I can't really speak it, but I understand a little bit.
Okay.
So they would be talking and laughing, and I'd just be like, okay, like you understand? I'm like, no, I don't understand. And but on the court, like basketball is like universal, like the language of basketball is universal. So we were able to understand each other on the court, which was probably the most important thing. And then off the court came later on, they could speak a little bit of English, but we were able to, after we built that relationship on the court with basketball, we were able to communicate and, build that relationship off the court.
That's awesome. And you guys were able to win your first regular game, right?
Yeah.
As a national team. So once again, hey, breaking barriers, and people may think it's small because you didn't win the whole thing or whatever, but progress, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that you plan to be a part of in the future as well. And like you said, just be an example for those who are coming after you. So that's awesome. You're like using this little ball, using this ball to get you places that you've dreamed of. Like you said, you wanted to do these things, and you're making those dreams come true just because you work hard at this and school.
Yes.
Right? And you're coachable, and you're a good player, and you have good people, right? But basketball can just get you to places, and it's so awesome. So awesome.
Yeah.
So now, when you got your injury, was there a mental toll, right? Every player, like, we don't want to get injured. And so what was that mental toll like?
Yeah, definitely after coming back from FIBA, I had, senior year, just high hopes, like that was going to be my year. So definitely threw me in the loop, because, it's something you don't expect, something you don't really plan for. So it took me some time to just really accept that and like just understand where I am and how my path, maybe has shifted in a way that's different than what I thought it would be. So it did take some time just to understand because basketball's been a huge part. This is probably the longest break from basketball I've ever had since like middle school, just because you have the whole year of high school and then club basketball. So yeah, it's just a different shift of mindset for sure.
So I know you're doing recovery and everything. What are you doing during practice? Are you on the court? Are you coaching? Like what kind of role are you playing now with the team?
Yeah, so if I'm not working out, I'm kind of just again another voice that for my teammates. If someone to talk to, like if they're doing something, they need help with something, I'm kind of that voice to help them out. Again, I know the play, so just talking again, working on being vocal. Since I can't physically lead, this is a chance for me. I feel like to vocally lead more, and it's kind of pushed me in maybe more uncomfortable positions I'm not used to, but it's another growing chance for me and another thing I continue to try to do in practice, just talking, cheering, either giving advice or just whatever it is something I continue to do in practice and in games.
100%. Okay, so after your next 2 years, what's the plan? Are you planning to play pro? Do you plan to coach? You're going to be a coach, just so you know. At some level, I don't know if you're going to do rec ball or coach at the high level college WNBA. It seems like you have you have the attributes of a coach. What do you plan to do after after college is over?
Yeah. For me, I want to play pro. Like playing in WNBA has always been my dream since I was little. Like I remember writing it somewhere that was like what I want to do. So I'm gonna keep going after that. I think you have to have big dreams, big goals to push yourself to be the best you want to be. So that's what I want to do is play WNBA, play pro as long as my body can handle it. And then later on, I want to do like medicine.
Practice medicine.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so you're majoring in pre-med now.
Yes.
And then you have an opportunity since you'll be in college for 2.5 more years to this point. Get your master's in something and continue to go to school using basketball again to get an education and to have something when the ball stops bouncing, whether that's in 15 years like we hope and you're a WNBA vet, right? Or, whenever you said, like, whenever it's time to lace them up or unlace them, hang them up.
Hang them up.
There we go, sorry. Whenever it's time to hang them up, you have something to fall back on, and kids need to understand, like, you're taking full advantage of this opportunity. And so, good job. Like, well done. I just wanted to tell you that. If nobody else tells you that, like, good job. You're doing this the right way. And so, we hope you continue to get well with your injury. Keep being yourself. Keep working and grinding. And I think sky's the limit for you on that end. So, awesome. Moving on to the next part of our show, we call My Rushmore. Okay. So, it's going to be your top 4 on Mount Rushmore. Point guards of all time.
Oh, that's hard. Okay. I guess one, I'd have to say Chris Paul. I actually had his shoes when I was young, just because I loved him. Even though he was the Clippers, I was a Lakers fan. But yeah, just his playmaking, his vision, his like understanding of the game is something that always inspired me since I was young. Like he's my favorite point guard. Not gonna lie. So I'd say him. I gotta go with my girl Chelsea Gray, just because one, she used to coach me, and then two, just her game again. Like I don't know, it's something about point guard with IQ and like vision that just always like stuck with me. Again, I think it's kind of a lost art sometimes, just because now the point guard position has transformed into also scoring and not just being a passer, but her game is just unbelievable. She's like one of the best, I think, in that aspect, and she's like another person I always look up to. Yeah, see, I like those kind of players. So I'd say Magic also, Magic Johnson. Just like his game, he's crazy. His dimes are just, I can't believe it sometimes. Like, how do you even see that?
Yes.
It just like comes out of nowhere, and again, a Laker, so I love that.
He's having fun.
Yeah.
He's the epitome of having fun playing basketball and being a lead at it. Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll add in Steph Curry just because he's a different kind of point guard. He's more of a scorer, and I think that's important, especially now, like being able to score along with the vision and the IQ. I think that can just separate you. So his scoring is something I want to do too, or I implement in my game.
Awesome, awesome. So this question's been asked on this show.
Oh, it has.
It's okay, because I'm going to see if I can still pick my top 4 without messing up.
Okay.
It probably changes. So I have my top 4. Okay. Magic is in there just because he's Magic.
Yeah.
Passing, same thing you just talked about. I have Steve Nash actually.
Okay, yeah.
I think
thought
Steve
about him.
Nash is the modern, like he started how the modern day point guard plays. His angles, spacing, simplifies the game, but has vision and all those things. So my belief, Steph Curry's a hybrid guard. I don't count him as a point guard. Like you said, he's a scorer. And
yeah.
shout out to my man Rashad Phillips. He's kind of recreating how you position players. So
Yes.
Steph Curry would be there if we consider him a point guard.
Okay.
But we're not for this. For
Okay.
my argument.
Okay.
And who was it? You guys are going to go back and say Coach Todd switched on me, but it is what it is. Don't look at me like that, Karina. Karina's giving me the look to see if I say him. All right. Who's my other point guards? Magic. I have a lot. Russell Westbrook.
Okay, yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. That man is, you can't average a triple-double 4 years and like,
True.
what are we talking about here? That man is ridiculous. And
Yeah.
he makes people around him better.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. Like people say what they want, but go watch the man play. Nobody plays as hard as him, and he's just a mental monster. Like he's a mental monster.
Yeah.
So he can improve his shot, but
Yeah.
whatever.
He's other
Whatever.
stuff.
Overall, I'm saying I don't think you can compete with that. And then, do you remember my 4? Oh, you do? Am I right so far? No. I'm off. I'm already off. Lastly, dang, who did I pick? See, now I'm thinking about not who it is, but who I picked last time. Shoot. All right, who are they?
Magic, Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, Rondo.
Oh.
See, J Kidd
I
and
like
Rondo.
Jason Kidd, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I remember
Rondo.
that. Okay, J Kidd and Rondo.
Yeah.
I didn't count Russell Westbrook as a point guard. I said the same thing. That's what it is. There you go. J Kidd, vision once again,
Yes,
and then Rondo is a genius. I don't think there's anybody IQ, crafty, smarter than Rondo.
Yeah.
He's amazing. So
He's
there
tough.
you go.
He is tough.
Oh man, these questions. All right, no more repeat questions on this. You guys just set me up for failure. All right. Awesome. And now it's a part of the show. You're the interviewer. I'm the
Okay.
interviewee. Okay. 2
Okay.
questions. Anything in the world. I'm an open book.
Okay. Okay. What would you say is the worst sneaker of all time?
The worst sneaker of all time. That's
Yeah.
a great one. People don't hate me for it. So I go to hoop shoes because that's
Okay.
what I wear.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I cannot stand wearing Kyrie Irvings. They hurt my feet.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm the opposite of most people. I like heavy shoes.
Okay.
I like heavy, bulky, wide shoes because I'm really, really quick,
Yeah.
and they slow me down. And so they help me play with pace.
Yeah.
Kyrie's are for quick, agile
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
and so they make me speed up too much.
Oh.
So for me, they're not for me. I love the way they look. I love the design, and I never tell anybody not to wear them.
Yeah.
For me, I do not like Kyrie's.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Just
yes.
wow. I love Kyrie.
I bet. No, it's like you're a point guard. Like most point guards love them. I'm more of a combo guard here,
Okay,
So,
okay.
but I like the way they look. I do wear them. I
Okay.
just do not like wearing them. If
Okay.
that makes sense.
Okay, that's fine.
What about you? I gotta ask the same
Oh,
question.
that's all.
You know what? Let's not break any endorsement deals before you even
Yeah,
get them. Never
yeah,
mind.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah.
Next question.
I guess second one. If you could travel to any place right now, where would you go to?
Oh, it's easy. I would definitely go to Tahiti with my wife.
Have you been before?
Never. That is
Never.
where we were supposed. So we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary
Oh, okay. Congrats.
this past year. Thank you. And so we had we went to Costa Rica,
Okay.
which was awesome.
Yeah.
Great experience. But I wanted to
Yeah.
go to Tahiti. It's like double the price. And so and we have 2 little kids. So
Oh, cute.
yeah, so they cost money, and so we didn't have enough to go to Tahiti. But that is my number one place to go travel to with my wife, and just like go in one of the huts in the water.
Oh,
no
yeah, I've
cell
seen
phone
pictures
service.
of
The
those.
kids, I know kids are taken care of somewhere, and just eat,
Yeah.
sleep, and spend time with my wife.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Absolutely,
awesome.
yeah. So that's on the bucket list to do very soon.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Vanessa De Jesus, thank you so much for coming on
Yeah.
the show. We'll leave you with in the women's basketball, you got 30 seconds, 35. Shot
30
clock.
seconds.
30
yeah.
seconds. You have 30 second shot clock.
Yeah.
Okay. you're speaking to the camera. Let the
Okay.
people know where they can find you. Let the
Okay.
people know about the gear. I don't know
Yeah.
if y'all see the shirts. We have this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
We also have the Nest
Yeah,
Quick.
the hoodie.
Got the hoodies.
Yeah.
And so let people know where they can find you, where
Okay.
they can get this stuff, is
Okay.
just support you.
Yeah. My Instagram is Vanessa DeJesus1, and on my bio you can find the link to find all my merch. And yeah, I got some hoodies, t-shirts, go and support. But yeah.
Awesome. Anything else you want? Any message for the people? Yours. So most people go over to 30 seconds. Anything else you want to
Okay.
just say to the people who are watching, especially maybe the young ladies who
Yeah.
are going out and trying to do what you do?
Yeah, I'd say just continue putting in the work. Like, you might not see the result you want in the beginning, and that happens, but you just have to keep working and don't diminish your dreams if people tell you they're too big, or there's doubters and all that. Like, those will come. Like, it's part of it. Like, when you're great, people will hate on you, honestly. So I've learned that you just got to keep believing in yourself and trusting your work, and just have a great support system, and you can get through it all.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you again for
Thank
being
you.
on the show. This
Yeah.
is awesome. Go Duke. And we'll look forward to seeing you out there for the next few years.
Yeah, thank
All right,
you.
awesome. All right, guys. We'll catch you next time. Peace.